With its unique 35mm panoramic format, the Xpan helps you capture the world in a very special way. The mesmerizing wide-angle shots help you bring a whole new immersion to your images, allowing you to tell stories that are nothing short of inspiring. It essentially makes it feel like every frame was taken right out of a movie. What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the Xpan. This is a camera grail for a lot of people, and for me personally it was a camera grail, and I found one a few months back sitting on the shelf at one of my favorite camera stores here in Portland, and it was screaming at me and I had to get it. So I got the Hasselblad Xpan along with the 45mm lens, which really lends its way to landscape photography and super wide angle. We went to Mount Hood National Forest this past weekend. We were kind of bored on Saturday night and we were like, hey, why don't we just drive an hour and a half up, take the dog and go up to a place called Trillium Lake. There's this beautiful lake that looks over Mount Hood in the background, and it's a massive lake where people are camping and going out in the water, and we kind of got to just bring the dog along and hang out there for the night, and it was really fun. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Only like 20% of you guys are subscribed to the channel. If you could, please subscribe. It would mean a lot to me. That's it. Get back to the video. Okay, bye. What a great way to spend the afternoon.
Wow, look at that.
Look at that. Loaded up a roll of Portra 400. The Xpan's kind of crazy because it rolls the whole roll out and then back in every time you take a photo, as opposed to the other way, like normal cameras, which I think is really smart, because if you open the back of the camera on accident and you're not done with your roll, the pictures you already took are safe because they're inside the roll of film and not out on the spool. Photo number 1 from this trip was definitely not my favorite, but it gives a good idea of what the Xpan is capable of. Portra 400 is beautiful. It's really hard to beat it. Now, second frame on the roll, absolutely love this photo. This is kind of what the Xpan is meant for. These wide panoramics that make you feel like you're at a movie or something like that. This is probably my favorite photo on the whole roll. That guy jumped on his little paddleboard and went out to the water, and I had to get a photo of him going out there. So this is definitely one of the better photos on this roll.
Yeah.
The Xpan is just a really good looking camera. Look at it. One thing I noticed while using the Xpan was I was shooting things that I don't normally photograph, finding different compositions that were super wide and lend the way to that kind of look. I was looking all over trying to find those, and I don't normally do that when I'm photographing. Now, if you have made it this far into the video, you are about to be rewarded with, yes, dog videos. For all you dog lovers out there, this is my dog. Her name is Kilowatt, and she is a mini golden doodle. And yes, she is named after the anime character. Once we finished up at Trillium Lake, we packed up the car and headed over to another location down the road a little bit. I have to say, turning this corner and seeing this view of Mount Hood was breathtaking, and this video does not do it justice.
Wait, why is there
This location was really cool because there wasn't a lot of people there, and it was just a nice view of Mount Hood with some campfires around and some people camping. So due to the fact that the Xpan is a panoramic camera, and my scanning process only allows me to scan full frame 35mm film, I had to stitch these photos together in post-processing, so I went into Photoshop and stitched them together, and I started getting this weird artifacting on some of the areas that I stitched the photos together, and I think that's just because the exposures were off just a little bit on each frame individually. That makes sense. Nerd talk for all you nerd scanners out there. Random fact about the Xpan is there is only 16,800 made, so if you get one, you have a rare camera on your hands. I'm really glad we went out and shot photos this day. Usually on a day like this, we would just stay home and scroll on our phones, so to get outside and actually use our cameras was a lot of fun. Also, yes, I am walking with a cane nowadays, which is really nice. I haven't been walking for the past 5 months, so this is a nice change of pace for me. Definitely had to pull over the side of the road and get a shot here, even though I was out of film. My roll was actually done, but this was too beautiful to not pull over. So I spent the morning developing all the film that I shot from the trip to Mount Hood. It was really just one roll of film, and that actually only equates to like 15 or 14 images because they were all shot in the panoramic aspect ratio. I'm just gonna come out and say it. I am in love with this camera. This thing truly makes every image that you take feel so special. I want to talk about a couple things that stand out to me while using the Xpan. First one is going to be its unique panoramic format and the fact that you can switch between normal 35mm and the panoramic format. That in itself is a really special feature. I can use this camera as a normal 35mm camera taking full frame images, or I can switch back and forth between the panoramic and the full frame on the same roll. So it doesn't matter if I'm shooting a roll fully on panoramic or fully on 35mm, I have the option to switch back and forth between the two formats. The unique format of panorama allows you to showcase expansive landscapes, architecture, and immersive cityscapes in visually captivating ways that you don't really see on other cameras. The second reason I love this camera so much is the build quality. This thing is built like a tank. The Xpan is renowned for its exceptional craftsmanship and robust build quality. It was made by the Swedish manufacturer Hasselblad. I have to say I'm really impressed with how this feels when I'm shooting. Very compact for what it's capable of, and I can put it away in the bag without having to worry about it. The only downside to the build quality is that it is full of electronics, which means that if something goes wrong, it's capable of breaking down the road, and getting it fixed is really expensive and hard to find someone that will actually work on these things, because all electronical film cameras like the Contax G2, the Hasselblad Xpan, the Contax T2, all of those cameras that are electronical and focus a lot on the electronics in a camera are really expensive and hard to find people to fix them. Third thing I love about this camera is the high quality optics and the glass capabilities. I have the 45mm lens, which lends great to really wide angle photos, as you have seen throughout this video. So there's three lenses you can get with this thing. There's a 30mm, a 45, and then a 90mm. Juicy Hasselblad looking glass that we all like to try out and get our hands on. A couple things that I wanted to talk about briefly that I don't love about the Xpan. The number one thing that I already have talked about is the electronics in here. Kind of scary using a film camera that has so much electronics built into it. That's just going to come along with using any old film camera like that. And that leads to the second thing, which it is film, and some people don't like the film workflow. So unless you really love that process of developing or waiting for your film to come back from the lab and going through all your images that way, I don't know how much I could recommend this camera. But again, anyone that's really looking to shoot on the Xpan, I think is already a film lover and someone who likes that slow process that is taking film in film photography. Yeah, give and take there. The last thing that I don't love about this camera is it does have limited features. It has exposure compensation, shutter speed up to 1/1000th of a second, interchangeable lenses, and all the things you would expect on a film camera. It is a film camera. It's old, and it doesn't have all the bells and whistles of a digital camera from today's day and age. But again, you guys probably already knew that if you were working on the video. I love this thing. I'm going to continue using this thing. I'm not getting rid of it until it breaks on me. I think a lot of people, this is a GRAIL camera for them, and I'm very lucky to have one in my possession and in such good quality that it is in. And I can't wait to create some more photographs with it. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, share it with a photographer friend. Like, comment, subscribe down below. It's greatly appreciated. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.